national baseball columnist for the New York Times, Tyler Kepner. His new book titled The Grandest Stage, A History of the World Series. Full disclosure, Tyler is one of my oldest friends. We worked at the Vanderbilt Hustler, the school newspaper.
You did not.
When we were 18 years old.
Oh, that is so nice.
Tyler was the star. I was writing his coattails. He's the editor of the sports section, the editor of the whole paper.
Just fine here.
And still doing all right. It's great to see you. We showed that clip partly because you talked to Larry David for this book. What was that like?
That was so much fun because I wanted an angle on Bill Buckner that maybe hadn't been explored too much. And this Larry David, we know, is very acerbic. You know, he's not known for sentiment, and yet he redeemed, in a way, Bill Buckner on a national stage, right? I mean, he was able to have Buckner make the catch in New York City and be the hero in New York City instead of the opposite. So he talked about editing that piece and how it really brought him to tears almost, just because there was a sincerity about Buckner. He had to live with that error for so long, and but he handled it so well.
Yeah. By the way, one of the most moving moments I've seen in Fenway is when Buckner came back, threw out the first pitch. The entire place erupted, and I don't know if there was a dry eye in the house.
And in a lot of ways, that was comedy, Curb Your Enthusiasm. I found that moving, that Larry David gave Buckner that moment to sort of be redeemed in front of the world. Buckner has sort of, he had to live with that and went underground a little bit and didn't make a lot of public appearances or deal with it. Did Larry have to convince Buckner that this was a good idea?
Yeah.
Well, he said part of Larry said that he actually kind of wanted him to drop the baby. He thought it would be funny. But he said deep down he really did want him to catch it because there was something good in Buckner's soul.
Only Larry would say that.
Only Larry would say that. But he said it was an easy. He said it was easy for him because Buckner's daughter is an actress and he cast her in a later episode. He said so it was an easy trade because she was wonderful and Bill was wonderful and everybody wins.
I'm going to say that was the most painful World Series, probably the most painful sporting event I ever watched. I was watching it on TV. I almost passed out about 12 times. It's weird. I never blamed Buckner in real time. I won't say because I know they're human beings that are out there. I have the people that I blame, but I will tell you, even in real time, I never blamed that series loss on Buckner. And I don't know a lot of true Red Sox fans who did.
Yeah, he shouldn't have been out. Most of the season, he was lifted for a defensive replacement. Buckner was at the end of his career. He couldn't play defense. His bad feet. And, the manager wanted him out there to celebrate. And that didn't happen.
Every postseason game that they won that year, they had Dave Stapleton out there for defense. But they wanted to keep him in there to celebrate with his team.
So obviously this is the book is on the World Series. Baseball playoffs are in earnest. I guess you rank the best World Series of all time. I have them as 2004, 2007, 2013, and 2018. But after that, what's next?
The greatest I ever saw was 1991. I mean,
thank you.
It was Braves and Twins.
Don't set him off.
Two last place teams the year before. They meet in the World Series. First World Series ever in Atlanta.
Yes.
Minnesota had been there a few years earlier, but they had fallen on a hard time. So, the home team wins every game, for one thing, so everybody goes home happy. You go back to Minnesota, sorry, Joe, down 3-2, the Braves, and Minnesota wins on a walk-off by Kirby Puckett in Game 6 and a shutout by Jack Morris in 10 innings in Game 7.
How do you remember
Hall of Famers doing Hall of Fame stuff.
You know what's incredible about that series, though, is that I'm so glad you said that because, first of all, it broke our heart, everybody in the South, but every pitch mattered. The moves that each one of the managers made, it really was like 7 chess games played out. And you could see it unfold. I've never seen a series like that.
Right. It was incredible. And getting a chance to talk to Tom Kelly, who was the manager of the Twins back then, talking to Terry Pendleton about, hitting the double where Lonnie Smith kind of hesitates around second base and can't score. Right. So there's all these little moments. Jack Morris, staying in for 10 innings in games. We don't see that anymore, right? So, it's great to go back.
Willie's friend Tyler, can I just ask a quick question? Are you a savant on the World Series? Do you know, Joe is? Have you seen can you remember each year, each player, each?
Yeah, well, I can tell you what. You can ask me any World Series game since 1979. Right. I can tell you the starting pitcher who won.
Okay, wait.
I don't know. It's just
don't
to you
trust
both.
Tyler.
Wait, to you both. Joe, 1934. Joe.
The Cardinals, the Gas House Gang, beat the Tigers.
1950.
The Yankees swept the Phillies.
60.
One of the coolest World Series.
Yes.
Mazeroski wins it with a walk-off in the 7th game. But what was so cool about the series is the Yankees crushed the Pirates in 3 of the games.
55-27 was the overall score.
55-27. And
Pittsburgh won the game.
The Pirates just squeaked by, and then Mazeroski with that incredible shot.
63.
Oh, you've picked the good ones.
The 53 was Koufax Drysdale.
Dodgers swept
the Yankees.
The Yankees. So thank you, sweetie. You picked the right year.
How did they do
Let's see.
I can't do it. Oh, okay.
Let's talk 1988, because what I love about the book is we all know the headline, the Kirk Gibson home run. He hobbles around, but you kind of go back and talk to the central players. And I'd totally forgotten this, or maybe I didn't know, but Dennis Eckersley, who famously gave up the home run, it was the at-bat before that that might have cost him.
Yeah, that's the one that sticks with these guys, because it's bases empty, 2 outs. All he's got to do is get Mike Davis, who hit 196 that year. But Eckersley had been teammates with Davis the year before when he had a bunch of home runs for Oakland. So he was, he's taking this guy seriously. And he walked him. Dennis Eckersley would face 95 more batters in his postseason career. Didn't walk anybody. But he walked Mike Davis. And if he had just gotten Mike Davis out, Gibson doesn't even get in the game. But he walks Mike Davis. Gibson hobbles to the plate. Davis steals second. Gibson can sort of relax, because all it takes is a single now. And then he hits it over the fence.
Can I just say, Eck has been the joy of our Summers Red Sox fans. The greatest announcer. And it's all stream of consciousness.
Oh, he's great.
Like in his last radio game, they were asking, our last game, they were asking about, well, what about your dad? You must be thinking about your dad a lot. And it's all stream of consciousness. Well, man, I don't really think about my dad. I should, because he goes, you know what, I need to start thinking about my dad. But Eckersley always, his heart was on his sleeve.
Totally.
He was so thrilled that you could see how excited he was. I mean, Jonathan, losing Remy and Eck, it's
tough. They're the soundtrack for a long time, and this particular Red Sox season, there weren't many reasons to watch, but Eckersley was one of them, especially once we learned that was his last game. So handicap this year's field. We're down to our final 8. We've established at this table we're all rooting for the Guardians. But beyond that, what's your take so far?
Well, I was out in Seattle recently, and they had a 21-year stretch. I covered them way back when they had Griffey and A-Rod and everybody, and now they're back. And I can't say they're going to win, because they are a wild card team, but boy, that'd be fun to see them keep going. Houston has made the LCS 5 years in a row. If Seattle can knock them off, that's the series I'm looking for. I'm going to go out there this weekend, but I'll be at Yankee Stadium tonight. All that said, Dodgers are the best team in baseball. Yeah. The Dodgers have built something really special, and to me, they're the favorites.
You covered the Yankees for a long time. We've got to talk about Aaron Judge here. They start their series with the Guardians. What is the conversation inside baseball right now about? Do more people believe he is the real all-time single-season home run record, or people saying, you know what, like it or not, it's Bonds, it's 73 home runs?
Yeah, I think that's the feeling. It is Bonds' record. It's very convenient to say that he's the American League record holder. Sure. Then none of the AL guys broke Maris. So he'll have that. I think it's the context of the times, right? That's the way the game was. They weren't testing anybody, so it was sort of look the other way and let it all happen. And we saw a lot of records fall, but it's great to see Judge do it. 3 Yankees hit 60 home runs. Nobody else in the American League has done that. It's kind of cool, the symmetry. And a guy like Judge, who really seems to get Yankee history, and he's a humble kind of guy, handles himself the right way. It was a great story this year.
So do you not think that Major League Baseball should recognize Judge as a single-season home run champ?
No, because Bonds set the record.
Well, yeah,
like it or not.
Ride it out. His head grew 12. Come on.
Yeah, but he was always eligible to play, right? Are we going to say that those World Series didn't count back then? Are those the pitchers who he hit home runs off of, the pitchers who were juicing? What do we do with that? It's a real slippery slope if we start. What do we do with Babe Ruth? He played in a segregated league. Those games, the context of that was different. So. It's the context of the times, unfortunately.
Wow. Okay, Tyler Kepner, Willie's friend. Good to meet you.
My man.
He's all our friends.
Great Tyler.
He's America's friend.
The book is called The Grandest Stage, A History of the World Series. It's great to have you on.
Thank you very much.
Fun.
Yeah, you too.
All right.